for me, my setup is I try to go to a desk or a chair because that makes me feel more motivated than when I'm laying on my bed or sitting on my bed. So I go to a desk or a chair, and then I have two tabs open at the same time, like a split screen. So on one side is the lecture, the video lecture, and on the other side is my note-taking software. So it could be Word, it could be a Google Doc, or it could be OneNote. So while the lecture is going on, I'm taking notes at the same time. And I commonly have a bottle of water or a fruit or just some snack that I can snack on during the lecture as well.
For me, I usually make sure I'm sitting at a desk because it helps with my concentration and also with my posture. And then I usually, I always use OneNote ever since like first year because I like downloading the PDF of the lecture onto it and then just adding additional notes on the side. And I either use my laptop and do a split screen like you, Theodora, or I use my iPad.
I like to have my PowerPoints or slides that the lecturer will already post beforehand as a basis for my notes, and then I will listen to the recording or the lecture, and I will add those like in-person voice notes onto those PowerPoint notes just so I can add an extra understanding. I also try to set up reminders for myself to kind of stand up every once in a while. So personally, whenever there's an asynchronous lecture, it may be a bit difficult to kind of ask a question as soon as you have one. So if you ever have a question or a thought come up, it's really great to kind of jot that down in your notes and kind of keep that in the back of your head. The great thing with Quarkus is there are discussion boards that allow students to kind of chat with one another. And so professors and lecturers often set up a discussion board so students are able to send in any questions they have for that week or for that lecture. And so fellow students and or the lecturer or TAs are able to message directly and reply to your comments, and it's visible for everyone to see. So if anybody has a similar question, it's all answered in one go.
Discussion boards get really busy in my lectures as well, and I find it really useful to use the search feature to search for a particular term or some question that you're looking for. And for some synchronous courses, some professors may set aside specific times or breaks for Q&A sessions, and so students can post questions using the chat feature on BB Collaborate, and other students may answer the questions or the professor themselves may answer the question. So I find that really useful.
For me, I had an asynchronous lecture for the May-June semester for the summer, and so what I did is I made sure that I put in my Google Calendar, that's the app that I use to make a schedule for myself, and I make sure to put a specific time in the calendar for when I'm going to watch those lecture recordings. So for me, my prof, he would put the lectures at the very beginning of the week, and then I would usually set out 2 periods of time during the week when I would watch the 2 lectures. And then for my synchronous class, it's every Tuesday and Thursday from 9 a.m. to 10:30, and usually one of the main challenges is trying to have the energy to wake up earlier in the morning than I normally do, but I also like having that dedicated time, and also it's live, so I can ask the professor questions at the end.
3 days before the semester begins, I'll just go through each course's syllabus and look at the important dates, the important deadlines, when the lecture will be uploaded, and I just add that to my calendar like Daniel mentioned that he does as well. So I also find that really useful. And also, I find it helpful to self-reflect after each week. Like if my schedule isn't working with asynchronous courses, if I set a time that's too early for me or too late where I don't feel as energized, I try to change up the schedule to find out what works best for me. So I find that also useful.
Synchronous and asynchronous courses are all going to be part of one schedule. So it's really great if you can just set up your own agenda and see what works for you. And it's definitely like a learning process, but it's good to kind of just set up how you think things will work and make changes and adapt as you need to. But it definitely helps to just have that agenda ready and be adaptable and being able to be proactive and kind of tell yourself when you need to see a lecture, tell yourself when you need to do your readings, as opposed to waiting to be inside a classroom.